is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says,
oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous. But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Hi, moms. Jenny Dean Schmidt here. Welcome to the Channelmom Show, where we are celebrating you as a mother. Of course, as I said, my name is Jenny Dean Schmidt. I am a mother and host of the show. All right. I have a funny and humiliating story to start out with this morning. But I want to show you what I'm willing to do for this show and willing to do for moms out there. Okay, so it's about a competing radio station. I'm listening to 105.9 the other day. I believe it's Alice, yes?
I don't know if that's competing.
Yeah. They may not be competing for mothers, frankly. But anyway, so I'm listening to them. I don't often listen to them because sometimes they're not exactly G-rated for my children. But I'm listening to Slacker and Steve, and they're talking about this concept of being voted most likely to do something. And they're talking about most likely to succeed in particular. And they're saying that if you're voted most likely to succeed, they found that there's this crash and burn syndrome, that it's too much pressure and that people tend to have a failure to launch if they're voted most likely to succeed. So they're saying this to the viewers, and they say, so by the way, if you were voted most likely to succeed, call in and tell us if you had a failure to launch. Well, guess who was voted most likely to succeed in her high school class?
You?
No, I don't believe it.
Thanks so much for that vote of confidence. So anyway, I'm like, oh, this is my chance. I can call in and say, no, I didn't have a failure to launch because I'm out there serving mothers with the Channelmom Show, and I can get a little plug in for the Channelmom Show. So I call in, and lo and behold, they put me on the air. And I'd say, well, I was voted most likely to succeed, and yada, 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 bragging about myself and saying, and, you know, I was a TV reporter, and then I took time off to take care of my children for 10 years, and now I'm back and I'm in radio. And you really can't say that's a failure to launch because you guys are on the radio too. So they were, we're having a bit of a conversation, and I get cut off. So in the middle of my self-promotion, it goes to dead air from me. So it was humbling at that. I'm like, oh, they cut me off in the middle of my self-promotion. However, I was able to say, yes, I'm the host of the Channelmom Show on Mile High Sports Radio at 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings. So I got a little promo in on 105.9 for free.
I hope they're listening this morning.
Yeah, it was very nice of Slacker and Steve to let me do that. So at any rate, I was humbled by the end of my spontaneous promotional opportunity because I was cut off, and I realized that it was my small 15 seconds of fame on another radio station. But here is how all of this relates to motherhood. In a word, humility. I experienced a vivid reminder of humility when I was cut off in the middle of my self-promotion. The humility of mothering is an absolute fact. It's part of the job description. I mean, you as mothers out there, you wipe bottoms, you clean dripping noses that are not yours, you feed other people lunch and dinner before you feed yourself. You're an eternal cheerleader even though no one is cheerleading you. You clean up throw up, you lie down to cuddle, you hold crying babies, and you clean old banana out of car seats. Who would do those things if not for you? If you're doing it well, you don't complain about putting your children ahead of yourself. And while it's probably not healthy to put them ahead of you all the time, isn't this approach an extension of the golden rule? Treat others as you want to be treated. Or as the Apostle Paul said, consider others better than yourself. Well, moms live those golden, noble rules every day. And this is where humility is magnified, just as it was for me on the radio the other day. Our society does not usually honor people who live in humility. That's why it's called humility. Now, we did recognize the humble servant we called Mother Teresa, but mothers who perform some of those very same tasks that she did do not receive world-class recognition for what they did. So moms don't get honored for their humble duties as mothers, and that was the greatest thing about my phone call being dropped the other day. Truly. It's almost as if God was whispering to me, it's not about the recognition of your peers on another radio station. It's about the humility of motherhood, Jenny. And that is why I find myself back here this morning doing what I should be doing, honoring your humility out there as mothers and all of the moms who live anonymous lives doing great things for our world with humility. So amen to that. And now it's time for the news.
If you're tired of the same old news,
What more do you want? I want the truth. You're hearing it. Strap yourselves in, folks.
never fear.
What's the dealio?
Part of life is learning to let things go.
We've got news moms can use.
What was that name again? I missed that.
News moms can use.
In the news this week, we've got the latest stories, and we pick them based on what we think that mothers want or need to hear. And today we've got some really interesting information for moms. First, I'm going to get to that most likely to succeed story. I looked up that news story after I was on Slacker and Steve. And being voted most likely to succeed is called a curse.
Really?
According to some winners. Yes. I wouldn't call it a curse, but some winners did.
I had forgotten most of high school.
Yeah. And isn't it pathetic that I remember that I was voted most likely to succeed? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, an article in the Wall Street Journal says that more high schools are actually eliminating senior class polls, partly out of concern for the effect that those polls are having on their recipients. We're so politically correct. It's ridiculous. The Journal says some former winners of the most likely titles say that what seemed like a nice vote of confidence from their classmates actually ended up creating a sense of pressure or self-doubt. Nearly 1/3 of those named most likely in high school regarded it later as a curse, and that was according to a recent poll by MemoryLane.com. Some say the label makes them feel stuck with high school definitions of success, which can involve rising to the top of a profession, making lots of money, or both. But on the flip side, some of the most likely recipients said that the label actually drove them to achieve. And I would say that early on in my career, when I went into television and, was being a TV reporter, it occurred to me, I'm like, well, I hope this is, filling that bill of most likely to succeed. I mean, I did drive myself. Absolutely.
So
Isn't that weird?
for you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if that's healthy, though. I think that's paying a little bit too much attention to that poll on my part.
It is a bunch of 17-year-olds voting you.
Yeah, it is. What do you think, Josh?
I have a funny story. Actually, they pulled our poll when I was in high school. Because you vote for like best hair, best dress,
right.
best most likely to succeed. They took it out of our yearbook.
Because you voted.
I was actually voted best dressed.
Oh, Josh.
Sure.
Who would know that now?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was only because I dressed different than everybody else. I think that's what it was.
Okay. Well, good. You were bold. That's awesome. Well, and do you approve of my getting the free promo on Slacker and Steve?
You should probably stop saying their names on this show. 'Cause you're just giving them
Just the other radio show.
Yeah. By the way, I don't. I'm just trying to be kind because they let.
I'm sure it didn't actually go on the air. I'm sure they dumped it.
I don't think so because they were commenting on it after the fact. We're getting a call, so maybe maybe it's Slacker and Steve. Anyway, I'll stop promoting them because unless perhaps they'll promote me again. And speaking of achievement, talking about those most likely to succeed polls, if you're hoping to achieve a weight loss goal, this item might grab your attention. Would you believe that leggings might be the new weight loss trend? Can we expect to see leggings instead of bikinis at the beach this summer, Shelley? Well, a new type of legging says it can help you lose weight with microcapsules containing caffeine embedded right in the fabric. They're called Lie-Test leggings, and you can slip into them for about $50 a pop. They've sold 3.5 million in France alone, but some experts are skeptical, saying that caffeine placed in fabric won't actually burn fat. Really, who knew?
So much for working out to get healthy.
Exactly. I don't want to just. People can go out and buy it if they want to, but it sounds like the experts say that it may really not work.
Well, you should be able to test it. You could test caffeine in your blood level after you put them on, right?
Sure, but do we want to spend $50 to go test it? I mean, I guess we could just trade around, you and me and Lauren. And
do we as Americans need more caffeine in our blood?
No. Although I've given up
we should
caffeine.
all be thin with all the caffeine that we have.
Seriously.
I gave up caffeine, actually. I know, and I still talk like this. And speaking of weight loss, first of all, I hesitate to have even, 2 weight loss stories in a row because a person's weight is certainly not the measure of their worth. I want everybody to know that. But I happen to know lots of moms who diet. So we thought we'd help you out this morning. It's about our weight loss personalities. U.S. News recruited a panel of 22 health experts to rank 20 of today's most popular diets, kind of based on personality and what you want in a diet. The results were based on different kinds of diets that might work best with your personality needs, from short-term weight loss to long-term to nutritional completeness to heart-healthy diets or the best diets for diabetes. Cost and exercise were not included in the scoring. So the best weight loss diet was Weight Watchers with Jenny Craig and the raw food diet behind that. Raw food diet sounds like it's probably really good for you. Best heart healthy diets were the Ornish diet, and then TLC and DASH came after those. And then the best diabetes diet was the DASH diet. And then there was a 3-way tie for the runners-up: Mayo Clinic, Ornish, and vegan diet. Josh, that would work for you.
Yes, it would.
Okay. And best diets overall was the DASH diet, and that stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. Wow. Okay. And the runners-up were the Mediterranean diet, the TLC diet, and Weight Watchers. And finally, from the sad but true file, apparently this is how the rock and roll world gets a divorce. Musician Jack White and his wife. My husband
You know who
will
they
tell
are?
me. They're in not the Black Keys, but they're
The White Stripes.
White Stripes. There we go. Yeah. Musician Jack White and his wife Karen Elson have announced that they're getting a divorce, and they're throwing a party to celebrate it. And they even have invitations, and they're inviting all their friends and family. I got a glimpse of the invitation online, which said, it's online now, which said that they wanted to celebrate their 6th anniversary at the same time they celebrated their upcoming divorce. They're going to do it on the same day.
The marriage was that bad that they're throwing a party to end it.
No, I think they're throwing a party to celebrate the divorce. That's the way they made it sound. Like, yippee-ki-yay, we're going to get divorced. Come celebrate with us on our 6th anniversary.
It's a different way to do it.
Of our
maybe.
actual wedding. And then they say that they want everyone to know that they're going to remain trusted friends and co-parents to their children, Scarlett and Henry Lee. And honestly, what I want to know is let's go 13, 15 years into the future and ask Scarlett and Henry Lee if they think that the divorce was a big celebration.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to try to stay friends and they're going to be positive about the whole thing, I guess that's the only way you can look at it.
Yes. And certainly we all know many people who've been divorced, and I'm not being callous about that. I'm just not sure that any of the friends that I've had that have gone through divorce would call it a celebration, and especially if there are children involved.
That's true. Maybe they're just trying to buck the trend of negativity.
Yeah, and
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. They might as well try to spin it positive.
Yeah, well, and they did say that, something about positivity in the invitation. It makes me sad. Well, here's what makes me sad, Josh. I just don't want us to get to a place in our society where we are that flippant about divorce that it's like, oh, let's have a party. Won't that be funny?
Aren't we already there?
Oh,
no, I don't think so.
50% of people who get married get
that's
divorced.
True. It is 50%.
But
Actually, they think it's slightly over 50% now.
The friends that I have going through it are just devastated. It's not flippant at all.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I more took the approach that people don't take marriage as seriously as they used to.
Sure.
Therefore, divorce is just an easy way out of a bad choice.
Sure. And do you know that fewer people are getting married than ever before? True fact. Absolutely. It's fewer people are getting married statistically because they're cohabitating and a number of other things. Alrighty. So you are listening to the Channel Mom Show, where we are celebrating you on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. I am your host, Jenny Dean Schmidt. I hope you've enjoyed our news and commentary today and my little self-promotional. You can also watch us all during the week on channelmom.com. We have our previous episodes on there. So if you've missed something, JJ Heller and some great advice from moms on stress and all kinds of wonderful things, you can go there to channelmom.com and watch those. You can also join us on Facebook, /channelmom, and like us. Alrighty, have you ever considered mommy wars or mama drama? You'll learn what they are and what you can do about them. Stay tuned for author Jean Blackmer of MOPS International, who wants to empower you to be the absolute very best mom that you can be. Coming up.